Cheers.
What's up? Welcome back.
How's everybody doing?
What You Should Know podcast in person. Doesn't happen often, but you know it's a special occasion today.
Sean, what are we drinking?
This is Four Roses Bourbon. Very good.
Very good. Very good.
Mhm.
All right. So today we are covering the Denver airport. And a little backstory on how this happened. So Sean came to visit me last weekend. It's when we talked about horse racing. And we discussed it a little bit, and I was texting my sister, and she texted me, "Tell Sean that you went to the Denver airport." Or that she was at the Denver airport, and I didn't know what was going on, so I told Sean, and he absolutely lost it. So apparently it was good enough to be a topic, and I figured let's just go for it, and here we are today.
There's a lot going on at the Denver airport. I was surprised that he hadn't heard of it, but yeah, I mean it's just one big sort of conspiracy theory wrapped into an airport.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to describe it to somebody who's never known about it before, but we're gonna give you the details.
We're gonna pretty much go over everything, every story that I've heard, and then
Yeah, there's a lot.
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
So let's get right into it.
Yeah.
All right, let's go first with just the airport itself. Some facts. When building it, they went $2 billion over budget. That sounds like a red flag to me.
Yeah, I mean I think they ended up at like almost $5 billion spent.
Yep. I think they had a goal of like 1.7 billion to start,
Yeah.
and they just
Ended up somewhere in the fours. Yeah.
they didn't build it. It was the largest airport in the United States.
And it was also built like right in the same vicinity as another major international airport, also in Denver, which just why spend that much money there if you already have a functional international airport there?
And it's further from the city than that other airport was.
Oh, really? I didn't realize it was further.
All right, but it is the second largest airport in the world, and what I want to point out though is that it is the sixth busiest airport in the United States, and
Yeah.
the 11th busiest in the world. But for some reason, it needs to be the largest.
Yeah.
I think I'm starting to smell things just from the beginning here.
Yeah, like size-wise, it was like 53 square acres, and I
53
saw
square miles,
miles. Whoa.
bigger than Manhattan.
Yeah, it's almost the size of San Francisco. I saw somebody like tape it over top of San Francisco, and it's like basically the same size,
Jesus.
which is insane.
Mm-hmm. It was built for room with expansion too. That's what I think is crazy. Is the guy that was
Right?
like one of the guys that laid it out. That's the other thing. While they were building this, they had everybody else doing it kind of separately, so no one got the whole thing.
Which is convenient if you don't want people to know like how to get around in there, or maybe what you're hiding in there.
We're not going to jump to conclusions yet, but let's just say there are also 6 jet fuel tanks. Holds 2.73 million gallons of fuel, and can pump at 1,000 gallons per minute.
So, do you know how much like a regular plane uses?
I do not.
So I was curious about like, I saw there's like 16,500-ish employees there. And I was curious like how it sizes up. JFK has 35,000 employees. So
Okay.
like at first I thought 16,000 was a lot, but then I was like, okay, like JFK
I thought
obviously
they had
has
35,000 too.
really.
Yeah. But
I
found
saw
that from the
saw
website.
them from like 2014, 2015.
Mine was 2019.
Yeah,
You never know. You never know.
Yeah, that's more accurate. It's newer. Mine was a couple years old.
I saw that the most noise complaints for it came from a group of like small people, and it was like 3 people.
What?
3 people made most of the complaints in 2019. And then there's a morgue under Concourse A, which this is just something that I thought was weird. There's a pop-up ice rink, which it's like the only one in the United States that has that. And then the closest thing, this is going to tie in later, that it has to a like private terminal is it's called a Signature.
Yeah.
And it's just their fixed based operation.
For like private jets.
Yeah, private jets.
Which
like,
I was looking this up
celebrities.
too. They don't have like a huge population of private jet inflows.
Except on certain days.
Except on certain days, yes. But overall, it was I forget what the other airport was, but it was like something by like DC that had the most. I
I have
think
no clue.
it was like DC, New York, or LA were like the top three.
That would make sense.
Yeah, but like this was not even in the top three. So, because I know that they're kind of known for private jet appearances, but I figured I'd see how often, and it's not very often.
All right, so let's get back to this close to the other airport, right? So Stapleton Airport was the original Denver airport, but it was built in 1920, and remember, this wasn't built until 1995.
Yeah, which Stapleton did close too. I saw.
Yeah, it did close. It closed when this one opened, and I think it was closed because this one was small. It couldn't
Yeah.
handle the traffic. What I think is weird though about this is why is this airport so huge? And I did a little bit of I did some pondering, right? The only thing that I can think of is it's because it's in the middle of the country. So you're going to get a lot of connecting flights here.
Yeah, that made sense to me too.
And I think like a third of the United States population or something like travels through here in like a year or something like that.
Yeah,
or it's some like maybe 8%. It's some weird number, but it's a lot of people come through here in a year.
I can see that.
And I'm guessing it's probably because it's in the middle.
Yeah.
Just because it was near another airport, I do not think that's enough to start a conspiracy theory yet. But I will think we can leave it as a little sprinkle if this is a little weird.
Well, yeah, it's just like the money thing. It makes you question like what's the deal with that? Like, it doesn't like scream conspiracy theory, but you're like, maybe something's going on.
Another thing I read is that since Stapleton was closer, they were getting more complaints, and that's why Denver's so far away from the DIA is so far away from Denver's because they didn't want to have if they're a busy airport, they don't want to have people.
Yeah, but that's with anything. That makes sense. Nobody wants to live near the airport to begin with. So
Yeah.
I don't think that's crazy.
All right, now let's talk about something a little stranger. And by the way we're going to talk about each topic is, in my opinion, we're going to get more and more plausible as we go.
That's a good idea. Okay.
So, February in 2007, there was a airplane incidents, and basically, I think it was 13, which of course it's 13.
Yeah.
13 airplanes had their windows cracked. So the theory is that it was testing some sort of alien attack device, potentially. So I looked it up. Aircraft's windshields break like often, but that's because like a bird flies into them. They're built to withstand like 4,000 knots of air pressure, and they're supposed to be able to survive getting hit by a bird. So this is really strange. And when they brought it forward, like the people that were there were like, we have no idea what happened. They said cracks happened, but this is weird.
Yeah.
Because all of these airplanes happened at the same time. Like it's usual for like one or two. Personally, I'm thinking this could have been an environmental factor.
I honestly like almost feel like vandalism. That's where my mind goes first.
Yeah, but it wasn't like only United Airlines. We're not sponsored by them. Only United Airlines was like broken. It was every airplane. So it's not like one brand was broken. It was like all over the place.
Oh.
And they weren't in the sky.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or I think one or two of them was in the sky, but not all of them. So that is what I think was weird. But again, this was not enough to set me off.
Yeah, like I said, I go right to vandalism with that. Even though it's inside, like how's the union workers getting paid and shit like that, you know?
I was gonna say someone might have seen it, but if the union workers, they would be like, I didn't see shit.
Well, I'm saying like if there's a whole bunch of underpaid employees and they want to make a statement, that's one way to do it. That's not really gonna.
But I feel like that would be one airline though, unless you're thinking it's the DIA.
Yeah, that's what I would think. Like if it's just like general, like those guys that wave the glow sticks outside,
they're just pissed off.
If they're not getting paid well, or the baggage people aren't getting paid well, and they're just like, let's make a statement, take a hammer, crack a whole bunch of these.
Hey, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about Lucifer.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a devil horse, man. What is it? 10,000 pounds too, right?
9,000 pounds, 32 feet tall, blue Mustang, with red eyes.
Yes. Which I thought were edited into all the pictures to make it look creepy, but it's not. It's like a bright blue Mustang horse, and as you as you show up to the airport, you're greeted by it, and it's got bright red, kind of creepy eyes.
Right when you pull up, it's
Yeah.
the first thing you'll see is a giant ass Mustang.
And it's like mounted too on a statue, so like
it's huge.
Yeah, like it's like 32 feet high, but like it's risen off the ground too. So no matter where you are, you're gonna see it too as you pull up.
So I looked into it because I was like, what is going on here? The theory is that it's a horse of the apocalypse.
Yeah.
I
saw that people were comparing it to like one of the horses from like Revelations or something like that.
There were no blue horses in the Bible.
There weren't, but they were talking about how one of them was like, of the 4 horses, like one of them was like a reddish color or something, and they were saying it symbolized the eyes. That was the stretch I could see from the Bible.
Okay.
I was a little bit, but...
Alright, fair enough.
I could see what they were saying, though, because if you're doing this type of conspiracy stuff, and you're putting it out there in the public, you're not going to make it that obvious.
Yeah. Alright. So it was blue because he had a horse. It's like Luis Jimenez. I'm sorry if that's wrong.
It's alright.
He's dead, so he's probably not going to complain.
No.
We'll get into that. But he had a horse that, as a child, was like that bluish color. So he was like, I wanted to make it blue. The red eyes were in honor of his father because his dad did LED lights.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. And then the horse itself is supposed to symbolize like the West, like the culture of the West. And honestly, Denver Broncos, I kind of understand the horse.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense. But at the same time, too, Satanism is like a whole like conspiracy theory topic. So that's where the questions really start creeping in.
All right. So speaking of like Satanism, there was an Anubis statue that was up there for a bit, which is like the Egyptian god of the dead. But there was also an Egyptian like museum thing, or a museum like, what do you call those things? Museum. Like,
I don't know.
They were doing a museum like show.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
And it was at the Denver Museum, and then they had like a 30-foot tall Anubis just like hanging out. So that, I think that was just total BS. It was advertisement for that museum attraction.
Mm-hmm.
But back to this horse, right? Not only is it blue and it's huge, but it has full genitalia. And it's veiny.
What the fuck?
Everything I saw, it was like, look at this horse's butt. Or like, look at its nuts. Because it was veiny. And gross, like full on, like very, very artistic.
If they just did like the Barbie and Ken, just nothing.
Flat. Nobody would have complained.
No, everybody would have been like, what is this? Everybody would have went right to that.
Yeah.
I kind of give them credit. They went for it.
They committed.
Yeah, they committed. Like, I'd rather... There's nothing I'd rather. I have no opinion on what it should be. But I'm just saying, people would have made a lot of comments if they did like the Barbie and Ken, just flat nothing.
I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that's okay. We don't need a full phallic horse.
I mean, like when you look at horses, like it's
pretty big.
Like it's there though, like
yeah. All right. So here's the thing that I think is the weirdest thing about this horse. So I had mentioned the creator earlier. He was actually killed by the horse.
What do you mean? Like he died from this specific horse?
Yes. So they were finishing the horse, right? And I think he was painting the head, and the head dropped, severed an artery in his leg.
Whoa. And
then he died.
I wonder if the horse is haunted or something.
I think 100% the horse is haunted.
Yeah.
It killed its creator. That's creepy. It's got glowing red eyes.
Yeah.
They almost didn't put up the horse because it killed him. They were like, this is probably bad juju. We should not put it up. But they ended up putting it up. Final thoughts on this horse, Sean? You think it's anything nefarious? Maybe
I still think it has to do with Satanism.
It's a Trojan horse. Maybe they're hiding.
That's
shit inside of it, right?
I think it's got to do with Satanism. I think the red eyes just scream that to me.
All right. See,
that's the vibe I'm getting from it. Satanism / end of the world.
I agree. It looks satanic. I think it's super creepy. I don't think anything's going on there, except for it's probably haunted.
But if it is apocalyptic,
Yeah.
it matches with
Matches the theme.
the theme of the entire airport.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Because okay, we'll move on. This is a good segue to
It does though.
Yeah, it does. It matches with the apocalyptic theme
On the interior.
which, yeah, it's not a stretch. That's
No,
not a stretch at all.
That's not a stretch at all. It literally matches. So,
All right.
take us into the interior, Colin.
All right, now we're going inside. Let's talk about the gargoyles in the suitcases. So this is Notre Denver. Clever name. Very clever.
They
name.
really named it?
Yeah, it's called Notre Denver.
I saw so many pics of them. I saw too, like, they did like a prank thing where there was a talking one.
No.
Yes, as people like got off of their flight.
Yo, all right. Talk a little bit about the people that work at the Denver airport and what they think of the conspiracy theories.
I don't know anything about them. What do you
Yo,
know?
you talked about those signs, the advertising signs.
Oh, okay. So the workers or the people who make decisions about advertising in the Denver airport, they are fully aware of all conspiracy theories, and they just play into them. They just play into your imagination, and they basically just toy with you. I mean, they had pictures up they were doing renovations, and they had a picture of a lizard person on a cell phone, and and the writing there is what is this renovation going to be? And it's literally an ABC choice, and A is like new bars and restaurants to hang out at. B is like secret hideout for lizard people. C is headquarters for Illuminati underneath the airport. They're just playing into you. And there's pictures of like new construction, like blocked off areas with aliens there, and it's like make your next trip out to visit us sometime or something like that, like on the wall. But it's like they're literally toying with people. They think it's funny.
They did a conspiracy theory exhibit, and they were like, yeah, when we were digging up, which by the way, they removed a shit ton of dirt from this place.
Yeah.
Like too much dirt. When they were moving it there, like they had an exhibit, and at their exhibit they had like an alien skull, and they're like, oh look, this is what we found when we were digging up. So they really lean into it, and if you ask like any of like this, like in all their interviews, it's always like, oh, we don't know. Like they never deny any crazy theory. They're like, oh well, it could be the Illuminati.
This is like it could be true, and it would be hilarious if it were true, but like I don't know. This is like them testing the public. I feel like to see how much they can handle it, if it were true.
Yeah, I don't think the public can handle it, man.
I don't think they can either. I don't know how it would go over, and I don't even know if I believe in it. But this is like 100% like a test crash course to see how it's handled by the public.
All right. Back to Notre Denver. All right. So people think that it's evil. They don't like the idea of seeing gargoyles and whatnot. But as it's named, it's kind of like Notre Dame. You see gargoyles and shit.
Yeah.
Right? Those are typically on the outside of churches, and it's defend against evil. So I honestly think putting them in here might be a good idea. They got that demonic horse-looking thing outside, and these are in the luggage area. Nobody wants to carry evil demons with them in their luggage, so you got the gargoyles to protect you.
Yeah, but people don't see it that way. Like, people see it as, like, scary gargoyle, like, getting on my flight, like, I hope my flight isn't cursed. That's how people see it.
That is how people see it. But I honestly think it makes sense. I mean, it's a funny little thing, and this is not the weirdest piece of artwork here.
No, it's not.
So I think that they have this. This is kind of funny, kind of clever. They've done a lot of different things with art. The guy that originally made it, he said, I think airports kind of look like cathedrals. What would be fun? Let's add some gargoyles.
Okay, I've been in airports before. I don't see cathedral anywhere.
I kind of see it. They're huge. They got open air, like kind of big spaces, high ceilings.
Not the Philadelphia one. That's
not
an open air airport. That is just hallways and I mean, higher ceilings, but
Yeah.
not absurdly high.
Well, here they have the teepee. They look like teepees.
I saw that. It looks kind of cool.
Yeah.
I see what you mean church-wise then.
But yeah, they put those in, and I think they were just trying to like go with the cultural vibe.
Okay.
But with cathedrals, yeah, I think that's where it lands. Sean, final thoughts on the gargoyles? Anything crazy?
Not enough to convince me of anything crazy.
All right, I'm thinking
Questionable, but tell you it doesn't like.
that's not a major draw.
No, that's not a major draw. Horse is a bigger draw than that.
All right, you think the horse? See, I'm thinking that they saw bad shit was gonna go down, and they're like, we need gargoyles to protect us in here because this shit is bad.
Yeah.
Think about it. The whole time they just keep going over budget. They're like, something bad's going on here, so maybe we throw up some gargoyles to protect us. And even though it's kind of like a joke,
Yeah.
it's just something nice to have to protect themselves. And they were like, you know what? It's everybody could use a little bit of looking after. I think it looks cool.
It does. It looks cool.
All right, we'll talk a little bit more about the floor art.
Oh, is that the silver gold?
Oh, is that what you're calling it?
If a general passerby happened to see some of the floor art, they might see the symbol AUAG, which on the periodic table is silver and gold. And it was also in like a little mine cart too.
Yeah, it was in a minecart.
Yeah, so like your mind goes right to silver and gold. A little bit weird. Why are we showing silver and gold on the floor? So a lot of people are saying that it's actually an Australian kind of like antigen virus type thing. And specifically, they think it's like a new variation of hepatitis B that would wipe out a bunch of the population. This was built in 1995. This is like a little bit of a prediction of a pandemic. I don't think pandemics ever happen though, really. So I don't know why.
Pandemics tend to happen every 100 years. Wait, time out though.
Yeah.
The Australian antigen, the guy that won the Nobel Peace Prize for finding it. This is what I heard. Again,
Yeah.
this could be wrong, but I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the guy that found it and won the Nobel Peace Prize for it worked at the Denver airport.
Whoa.
Like, worked on establishing the Denver airport. He was like one of the founders of it.
Whoa.
Which is why people are like, yo, this is actually something.
I didn't know that. That makes a lot of sense though.
Yeah. Once I found that out, I was like, all right,
crazy.
maybe these people aren't as crazy.
Well, it like so this plays really well in with the murals.
Yeah.
I think it goes hand in hand because, and we can touch on the murals in a second, but the fact that it is like some type of pandemic type, not like warning, but like prediction of a pandemic about this hepatitis B variation.
Yeah. Because the New World Order, a lot of their stuff is we're gonna wipe everybody out with a
Yeah.
virus or something like that.
They talk about reducing the population to save the Earth.
Like Thanos, but a little bit different.
Yeah, and like we should start going in a little bit about the murals too, because
it's a perfect segue.
the murals basically depict that.
Yep.
And that's why like it's kind of ironic that like so they have like hand painted murals I guess in like one section of it, but there's 4 or 5 that really stand out that kind of depict a whole like pandemic into like this new world order type deal, which makes you even more question like why do they have this AUAG stuff on the ground all over the place in this airport.
And it's actually called the Children of the World Dream of Peace.
Which is like that's one of like New World Order, like just like ideas. Like everybody comes together. We're all one. We're peaceful. We're one nation. But most importantly, we are one nation under, one ruling class.
All right, let's start to describe this photo a little bit for the people that are listening. If you want to look them up online, that would definitely be recommended.
We'll link all of the pictures in the description too.
Perfect. So you've got, I'd say he looks like a World War II German soldier holding one of those like long kind of Middle Eastern swords.
Yeah.
And he's wearing a gas mask, or she, and holding a like a semi-automatic gun with a like a bayonet on it.
Yes.
It looks to me like he's chopping through two buildings and potentially stabbing a dove. There are women holding potentially dead babies on the one side, like kind of on his backswing. They're all crying, and then there's like a dead child laying underneath some bricks, holding a teddy bear crying, and then there's a rainbow over top that turns into just like a jet stream kind of looking thing, and then there's a letter that's in the bottom right hand corner.
Yeah. So the way I see it is the rainbow is kind of following him.
Oh, like so he's bringing the new.
Like I would argue that this is bringing the peace into the world.
Okay. So it depends on how you look at this photo, right? Because on the right side, there's this photo, and on the left side, there's another side. And the other side is happier, and I think it also connects the rainbow. I think the rainbow connects there.
Yeah.
So you're saying that it is supposed to be read from left to right, and this guy's bringing the peace, and behind him is the happiness.
No, yeah, behind him is the goal. I wouldn't say happy because I'm not on the good side of the New World Order situation.
Not yet.
Yeah, hopefully. But I would say that he's bringing the peace because he's clearly running from left to right across.
I would have to. It does look like he's running from left to right.
Yes.
A lot of things have been said about this one. Sean, any crazy theories you got going besides the dude here?
Well, he reminds you of like a Nazi.
Yeah.
Like that was my first thought, like Nazi World War II type situation. But then the rainbow throws you for a loop, and if you're thinking Nazi, the dead kids make sense. But the fact that it's here, like all these murals. When I was looking at them individually, I was a little bit confused, but then when I put them all together, it made more sense to me. So by itself, that's all I see.
Yeah, and also the letter on the bottom right-hand corner is actually, it's like a letter from a girl that was written in Oxalids.
Really?
Yeah.
I read it a few times, and like,
I couldn't read any deeper meaning out of it.
I couldn't either. I read it a few times, but nothing jumped out at me.
But it was basically just a child that's like really like life sucks and like depressed. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought again. I agree with you here. It looks like the bringing of the apocalypse or the ending of time. And then on the guy's left, this is where you see like this is kind of so it's a massive rainbow. Do you want to describe this?
Yeah. So it's a giant rainbow with all of their children, right?
Yeah.
They're all the children of the world, and the actual like Nazi soldier or whatever kind of soldier himself, he's dead in the middle of them all, and everybody is bringing their weapons to hand them in to I think it's a German boy.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of symbolizes like world peace, and the rainbow goes all the way across and wraps around them all. Everybody's happy in it.
Everybody's swords are like tied around like flags, like their own country's flags.
Yeah.
And then like I think they like attach flags of countries that like aren't in great relationships because it's like the U.S. and Russia. I think Israel and Palestine, England and Ireland. Like they connected like a lot of the flags. That there's like a little bit of a.
I didn't notice that, but yeah, I mean that I see it now. It
so
makes
it's
sense.
Like, hey, now we're all together and we're one.
Yeah, like the picture clearly is saying like
unity.
Yeah, like war is over. We're all unified. But it's a huge thing that it's like there are no more weapons, so it's like we're not fighting again because we don't need these.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the German kid has been designated to collect them all.
Oh.
I'm just saying that right now. Like.
Yeah. And then
I guess somebody's got to collect them, but
somebody's got to collect them.
They also could have like, instead of having the dead guy there, they could have had like a fire pit, and they were all throwing the weapons into the fire.
Yeah, but instead it's the dead guy. And then there are two doves on top of that guy. So Sean, my question for you is how good would you feel going into an airport seeing that German Nazi slicing the tower and
It's just weird.
It's just weird.
Like this is when the questions come out.
Also, this was built in 1995, so this was pre 9/11. So I guess there wasn't as big as a fear when you walked into an airport, but
No, there wasn't, but it's just weird. Like, and if I'm in an airport too, I'm thinking like I'm walking from place to place. Like I'm not gonna pay attention.
yeah,
But like when I look at this, I'm like, this is really weird that somebody took the time to put this into an airport. Somebody consciously hand painted this. Somebody designed the painting. Someone picked out a letter. Someone put all these countries together to have them giving their weapons in. Like you could have changed this to make this non like conspiratorial and like had it just like a whole bunch of people holding flags of different countries, get rid of the dead Nazi, and be like, look, we're all happy together, we're united, we're all traveling together in this airport. It makes sense.
I think this is thought provoking though.
I think it is, yeah.
And their other piece, which we'll get into in a minute, is also I think super thought provoking.
Like it's clearly on purpose, because you could have done this picture just to like I feel like it's normal to like. It's like a normal message to be like everybody care for each other, everybody unite. Like we're in an airport, we're traveling the world, love the people that you're gonna go see, like be respectful there. So you're gonna show like everybody happy and getting along because that's the vibes that you want to send when you're traveling to a new place.
Just so you're aware, though, most airports they have bland murals, like just random stuff. They're not thought provoking pieces.
You know, that's kind of true. I never thought about. I've never been in an airport where I've like taken a second and been like, huh, that's a little odd.
Yeah. So, all right.
Yeah, I mean, this is enough to be like, what is going on here?
Next, this is the one that really gets me going.
It's the next two combined.
Yeah, these next two pictures that we're going to talk about are combined. So the first one, there's a city burning in the background. It looks like.
Yes.
And then as you get closer, it looks like it's a forest on fire. You got a mounted buffalo head, I would say.
Yeah.
And then you got kids holding creatures in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You got a dead lion, or not a lion, like leopard.
Yeah.
You got a dead, probably German girl, blonde, lederhosen looking girl on the right.
Yeah.
I heard that she's Jewish. I don't know if that's true.
Might be.
In the center, you've got a dead Native American, and on the left, it looks like you have a dead African American person.
Yeah, and they're like clearly in coffins.
Yeah, it's like they're in a coffin with a red thing underneath them that they're sitting on. And in the background, there's a whale jumping, and it's covered in red. You got some dead animals, it's looking like, and then there's some flowers growing. And then you've got like a bunch of different ethnicity people, like all that are holding different animals that are potentially dead.
Now, I'm gonna come in here too for a second because I'm looking for something.
Apparently, those animals were all extinct. By the way, that's what I read.
So, I am looking for. In this picture is written. Wait, what's important to point out? Some of these animals are dead, but we do have a penguin that's preserved, and we have a bird that's also preserved, and then right here.
Yeah.
Whatever this thing is too.
That looks like a bird.
Some type of bird is preserved. And we have the flowers here, and the people coming together. So this picture is, there's also the date in this picture somewhere on one of the coffins, I believe, or somewhere. I'm having trouble seeing it right now, but when I read it, it has the date December 21st, 2012 on there, which is the Mayan calendar date for the end of the world, but not just the end of the world. It also was set to symbolize a rebirth in the world.
The guy that created all these paintings was Mayan.
Yeah, of course he was. That's why he's got to put that in there. So this is while we have the dead people, the dead animals, and the burning of the city in the background and the forest in the background, we also have the flowers in the middle, the people coming together, the preserved birds that are clearly protected in the box. So it's the end of an old world and the entrance into a new world.
And I'm gonna guess that the next picture is the New World.
Which is exactly what I think you're right. It's everybody coming together. You can see the bird. One of the birds that was preserved in the last mural is flying happily in this one.
Yeah.
All the people of the world, and they have each different location in the world too in the background. They've all kind of come together, and it's bright and happy in the middle.
And everybody's dressed in their own like culture.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, but they're all together and all is one.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if you look in the background, it sort of covers like every single environment. So to the left, you have the whale jumping out of the ocean, and then like a little more to the left, or a little more to the right, you have like a valley. Then you have the mountains, the forest, and the desert. So it sort of covers each different area.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're all sort of going in. It looks like a book, and in the middle of the book, there's like this rainbow plant.
Yeah, I can't tell what it is, but they're definitely like they're all brought together by it somehow.
Yeah, and I really don't know anything else to say about this photo, but I'm feeling again it's that picture of disaster to peace. This I feel like is more of a natural disaster versus a man-made disaster.
Well, this to me is like it coming together. When I look at all the four murals, first we have the war and the warrior.
Yep.
Guy coming causing chaos, but also the rainbows on the way, so you know things are getting better. And then you see the dead guy, and everybody's handing their weapons in, and the rainbow is there. It's happy. And in the next one, yeah, there's some more suffering in the world, but we've preserved life that's needed to move on, and there's the rebirth period. And then after the rebirth, we're all one, combined. No matter where you are geographically or culturally, you're one.
So the artist himself said that this is more so a piece about like a warning. So it's like, hey, like what would happen if we fell to war? Like
Yeah.
this is what could happen. Or on the other side, it's supposed to be here's how we if we band together. And then the other one is if we don't take care of our environment. And this one, the last one that we were just talking about, is supposed to be like if we decide to take care of our environment and preserve and take care of each other.
Mm,
That's what he said. So
I see that.
I can see it. It makes sense.
This is when, after looking at these and Lucifer and the AUAG, I think there's no denying that that's something at least thought provoking is going on here.
Yeah.
Somebody wants you to think about some type of apocalypse, some type of new world order. They want you to think about some type of conspiracy idea.
Well, we can throw this in. So my sister, when she was there, she took a picture of this piece of art,
Mm-hmm.
and it looked like a scene from like Indiana Jones, like where the like kind of everything's like run down, like it looked like a rundown kind of area with like plants overgrown and things like that. And I looked that up, and that floor art is supposed to symbolize the circle of life.
Mm.
Because they were looking at it and they were like, well, things are overgrown, things are renewing, and how the world will kind of like reamp itself.
Yeah.
Other thing that I wanted to point out while we're on this art is that they actually took down a lot of this artwork, and they have been painting over and putting things away and trying to clean it up because people were offended. I'm not sure if these murals are even there anymore.
Yeah, I mean they might not be. Like there's definitely been like complaints.
One thing we should also touch on is that earlier this year, there was a mask painting that was said to have been there, and from what I've found, and I cannot confirm or deny, but I think it's totally fake. Like I've found a lot of people that were like, "This is the artist. It was made like June 2020."
I'm on the fence if I believe that or not.
So
I did some research. I saw the same thing that Colin saw, but
would they really want us to know, Sean?
that's exactly what I mean. Like they don't want us to know. It could have been in there for a short period of time, and somebody would have been just like, "No, you got to paint over that stuff."
All right, let's final conclusion about the artwork. You were saying that you think altogether this is something.
Yeah.
Alone, it's just art.
If you look at one mural at a time, it's just art. But when you look at all the murals combined, it's something.
Yeah, I agree. I think all the murals combined, you're like, this is weird to be in an airport.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird to be anywhere. If I saw this in like an art museum, I'd be like, "What's going on here?" Like all these lined up together. I'd be like, "Somebody wants to tell us something."
Well, if they were in an art museum, I'd assume it's a theme of apocalypse. Or like some sort of new world.
Yeah, but
idea.
even if I saw that in an art museum, I'd be like, "Why are they showing me this?"
Yeah, so that's why I think especially if you mix it in with Lucifer,
Yeah.
this is starting to get a little weird for me.
Well, I just think it's a depressing idea. So it's like, why would you want to show that in an art museum?
Yeah. This is an airport. It's not even an art museum.
Exactly.
I don't know why you'd want anything like that going on. All right. Now, since we talked about the New World Order and how it was a German-looking thing, we have to touch on the fact that this airport is laid out like a swastika.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, a lot of people think Nazis, bad news bears, right?
Yeah.
The swastika was actually a symbol for peace before the Germans took it.
Really?
For World War II reasons. So, all right.
What?
I think.
I can't wait for this.
All right. That'll be part of my conclusion. I'll relax a little bit.
Oh, you're killing me.
But also, the other reason why people have been like, oh, it doesn't look like a swastika. I encourage everybody that's listening to look this up themselves. Go on Google Maps and look at it, and follow along with me as we go through this next portion.
Mm-hmm.
Because they said this is the best layout for an airport that there ever could be.
Yeah.
Right. So I looked up the top 10 biggest airports. Right.
Yeah.
Because I figured if the best way to lay out an airport is the same way as this supposed swastika, swastika, that at least one other airport in this top 10 would have it, right?
Yeah, probably.
So we look at the Beijing airport, Sean. What does that look like to you?
Yeah, I'm not seeing swastika. I'm just seeing normal airport.
I'm seeing like maybe an H and a dash next to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, now we have Fort Worth. This looks maybe like a twister symbol to me, like a tornado maybe, where you see how it's like a circle and then you have one long the other way and one long the other way.
Yeah.
But that's only two arrows going out. I don't see a swastika. Now you have the Denver airport.
That's a swastika.
All right, enough said. Next one. This is the largest airport in the world. I think it's in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it looks like it.
And what does that look like to you, Sean?
I mean, that's literally just parallel runways.
That literally is just parallel runways. So, either the Denver airport was way ahead of their time.
Yeah.
And they're just crazy genius. Or maybe there's something a little fishy going on here. And, all right, so we're going to get my conclusion. Because I did, and I encourage everybody to look this shit up and see what they see. Because I don't see a swastika in any other one.
Mm-hmm.
But my conclusion is this might not be an accident. It might be functionable. It might be really good.
Yeah.
But it's not an accident. And if it was the best, somebody else would have done it.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think the swastika, right, is supposed to be more of a symbol for peace.
Yeah.
Because thousands of years ago, it's a symbol for peace. Let's say some Holocaust, nuclear thing, or a pandemic happens, and all you can see is the symbol for peace from space.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that would be where you'd go to find people.
Mm.
And
that's a good idea.
Right? It'd be like, it's kind of like an arrow, like, hey, this is where you should go because this is a symbol for peace. We come in peace.
Yeah.
And this brings me into the underground tunnels.
I've been waiting for the underground tunnels.
This is definitely the thing that I feel like is the biggest thing about this airport.
After you hear about the underground tunnels, there's no denying that something is going on here.
100%.
You may not think that there are aliens involved, and it might not be New World Order, Illuminati, but something is going on here.
So there's 7 floors, Sean.
Okay.
7 floors down.
Yeah.
There was so much dirt removed in the construction of this. They had different people building different things, and they were all like contractors. Mm-hmm. So once they finished their piece, they were let go. And nobody knew the whole thing.
Yeah.
I heard, and again, I could not find anything to back this up because I really wanted to find this to back it up.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find anything. But I heard it was on some podcast that the guy that built Hitler's bunker took part in building of this airport.
Yeah, when you told me that, I tried looking for it too. I couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it. I honestly don't think that's even plausible.
I don't think it's possible either.
Because when we talked about it earlier, it was like that guy, if he was like 20, he would have been like 70 when this would have been built.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really seem plausible, but that definitely does sound like a very, very good conspiracy theory thing to say. The other theory is it is connected to an Air Force base.
Mhm.
The Air Force base is only 90 miles away.
It's a long ride, though.
But if you're building a tunnel,
For a tunnel, that's a shit ton of dirt.
yeah, it's a lot of dirt.
That's
but,
a lot.
Sean, if there's a will, there's a way.
That's true. I don't believe that. I think that's a stretch.
I also think that's a stretch, but I do think it is in close proximity, which
It is.
might be something.
Yeah. I mean the fact that what's the deal with the buildings? They had 5 buildings that they constructed. The story is they didn't like them or they didn't turn out the way they wanted to, and they didn't get rid of them. They included them underground in the tunnel.
And they buried them.
Yes. Underneath the airport.
Yeah.
That is like crazy. That makes me think of like those like ultra rich people who have like their own bunkers under their house for like end of the world situations. My mind goes right there.
I have to agree with you on this one, Sean.
Yeah.
I'm going right there as well. There's theories that there's a concentration camps underneath, so that way they can kill loads of people because the New World Order is going to take them down. I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about that either.
At one point, they did give some tours of the underground, but there was always some section that they couldn't show, of course.
Yeah, they probably showed like floor 1, like just a little basement area walk in and out of.
Yeah. And then apparently, or what a rumor that I heard, again, I couldn't find the video, which made me really upset, but that there was a lizard person walking around when a news crew was underneath there.
I couldn't find the video either. I looked for a while.
I heard it was a thing. I also heard that it was an employee dressed up as a lizard person, but I thought it was funny.
Who wears that to work?
They knew the camera crew was coming. That was the joke.
I don't know.
So also the main reason why they had such a big underground section, what they're claiming, is that there was a baggage system they were trying to make.
Yeah, but it's absurd.
It cost them over $180 million, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
So apparently the system involved over 22 miles of tracks and conveyor belts, and it would actually destroy the bags as it was going through. So they stopped production, and I think they ripped it all out. And now they just use regular systems to move things around.
Yeah. Like I think that's just BS.
So do I. So kind of here's what my thought was. I don't know if they started to build this place and think, we're going to make it an underground bunker. But I think once they realized their baggage system was messed up, they were like, well, we built the second largest airport in the world.
No.
And we have a bunch of space. We could easily protect people under here.
No, you don't go building an airport like that. You don't build an underground situation like that unless you're thinking bunker.
Yeah. And then the other thing is Queen Elizabeth, apparently under a pseudonym, which is like another name, has land right by the airport.
Oh, she owns land?
Yeah.
Wow.
She purchased land under a fake name right there. That's, again, not 100% sure that's true, but that's what I heard.
A lot of the world's billionaires own land in the Midwest, like just deserts. It doesn't really make any sense, but like they own a lot of land out there.
Do you want to talk about another reason why it might be a bunker?
Well, yeah. So there was in 2011 during Obama's administration. There were different reports. The first story I ever heard was he was flown to the Denver airport, and the airport was shut down for him to be flown there, among other people, many other people, because there was a comet that was going to fly by the Earth, and it ended up being like 22 miles from the Earth, and it jeopardized...
22?
Yeah, it said it was going to miss the Earth by like 22 miles.
That's like really not far.
You know what? That is too close. The story that I read then said 22. That's way too close. Maybe like 22,000.
Yeah. I was going to say, if it was 22, we probably would have seen it.
You're right. We would have.
It would have been big.
It would have been really big. Yeah. 22,000 we're going to go with. But either way, it was close to Earth, and there really was a comet that was very close to Earth. And the first story I heard was he was flown there. The airport was shut down for a week, and all the locals said that there were like tons of private jets flying in all week long. They heard news that the comet passed by the Earth, nothing happened. Airport stayed closed, and everybody flew out. All these private jets left. Nobody knew what happened, but the airport was closed to the public. And then I saw another story where it was like he happened to be there while on like a speaking tour or some kind of press tour.
Yeah.
The day that the comet was supposed to be by, and he landed in the Denver airport while it was closed and stayed there like overnight.
See, that's the one that I heard. I heard he was on like a publicity tour.
Yeah.
And he just happened to be
Which it's like
in the area at the time.
Either way, it's like no president ever happens to be anywhere.
That's true.
Nothing. There's never any like, and if they happen to be somewhere, then it's like a pretty big emergency because everything they do is planned. So like it was planned that he was going to be there. So like this basically confirms like yes, it's a bunker.
Okay.
That's what I say. That's one of my concluding thoughts. Like after seeing this, it has to be a bunker.
It could have just been a coincidence because that is the largest airport in the United States. Right? There's a chance. It's not the busiest, but it is the largest.
But like when you're on like Air Force One, like I think they have.
You can go wherever the hell you want.
You can go wherever you want, but I think they have the option to keep it in the air with like the Air Force refueling things if there's chaos on the ground.
All right.
So like I literally think it's an option for them to stay flying like indefinitely through like other jets refueling it, in case there's like serious like
issues,
end of the world type stuff on the ground.
Interesting.
So like I don't think there's ever a need to have them land. So the fact that he landed there the same day that a comet was flying by the Earth, it confirms bunker.
All right.
That's
it. That's it for Sean. Definitely a bunker. All right. Let's
I mean, I think there's other stuff going on, but that's the only thing that
we'll
I'm
get to
like
that in the conclusion.
90+% positive on.
90% sure it's a bunker. Freemason plaque.
Yeah.
This is the capstone, if you will.
Now, I tried to find who funded it. I could not find it. There's all these things where it's just like government entities funded it, or like money from the old airport funded it. But for some reason, it like comes up time and time again like this is not guaranteed. Nobody has a guarantee who funds it. And then I'm watching like a Denver Channel 9 news report from something like 2007, 2008, and the official like who was representing the Denver airport, like one of the higher up people, like commissioner or something like that, like confirms or like says like yeah, like we have a Freemason plaque in here, and we have it in here because they helped fund the airport. And then it was just something that like so casual that it just slipped, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean that makes sense. All right. You want to talk about some of the weird things about the plaque?
Well, like why on earth? So the plaque is a time capsule that's supposed to be open in 100 years, the year 2095. Which, what airport has a Freemason time? What airport has any time capsule, let alone a Freemason time capsule? Freemasons have been around forever. Why do they want a time capsule at the Denver airport?
Who knows, man?
Right?
So, also on the capsule, it was March 19th, 1994, which was supposed to be the day that it was open, but I don't think it opened that day because they pushed it back so many times. It got pushed back like 16 months.
94 would have been when it was placed.
Oh, okay.
Because they were building in 95.
Oh, all right. Anyway, but if you add up the numbers, it adds up to 33.
Yes.
19, 19, 94. All those numbers together, well, I mean, if you add the 1, the 9, the 1, the 9, the 9, the 4, that adds up to 33, which is the highest level in the Freemasons.
Yep.
Coincidence?
No.
I think not.
Freemasons are calculated. They've been around forever. you have to be very smart to stay around that long.
There's also a theory that the Braille text underneath it, so you can read it in Braille, is actually a keyboard to unleash the AUAG deadly gas,
What?
or to call aliens. Or the other theory is, and this one's a little bit more comprehensive, that is how you steer the ship. And the ship is actually the entire airport. And that is why they have all that fuel that I had mentioned in the beginning, is because the fuel is actually how they run the airport. And then from that command station, you can fly the ship into space.
Wow.
That was the craziest one I heard, but it threw together a lot of the good things.
Crap.
And I like that one a lot.
I like that a lot too. That's pretty cool.
I don't know how plausible it is, but I like the idea.
I don't know either.
Whoever came up with that, it was like, that's too much fuel. This is totally a keyboard.
Yep.
And why wouldn't it be a spaceship? Because it kind of looks like that thing from Star Trek.
Yeah.
On there, it also mentions the New World Air Commission. That's not a thing.
Yeah, that doesn't exist. And so I was trying to find like legal entities registered as the New World Airport Commission, and I couldn't find anything. At least like in the United States, it could be international. I don't know.
Yeah, and the thing behind it, what they were all trying to claim, is that there was supposed to be a comma. They're like, it's supposed to be the new comma world order world. That's the new comma World Airport Commission, but the World Airport Commission, I don't know. It's nonsense.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And then apparently the New World, another reason that people came up with, is that it's supposed to be a nod to the New World Symphony from some dude's Ninth Symphony. But if there was supposed to be a comma, then why would they have written New World Symphony? Like,
yeah, this just goes into the New World Order type stuff still.
Yeah. That's really all I got on those. Oh, it's supposed to contain like random stuff, like a lawsuit against the DIA, Black Hawk Casinos, which is a token, like a thing nearby. Like there's some of their tokens, some memorabilia, the shoes from like the old mayor or something like that. But the whole point of a time capsule is that nobody knows what's inside.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can't make any conclusions on that. But my conclusions on the plaque, once you add up everything else, there's definitely something weird going on here. I'm not 100% sure that it's evil, and it might not be a spaceship that's run by all the fuel that's there, but I definitely think this is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. That's why it's exciting though, because it's weird.
I agree.
And they play into it. I really believe that it's probably a bunker. I don't think that's absurd. I think I don't know, like if it seems too elaborate of a joke, all the New World Order and end of the world type stuff, but I wonder if like the people in charge of it were like afraid of that.
So my thought is that they were using some of that shit to cover it up. So like, like when you're like you dangle a carrot in front of the horse, and it's like people like are like, oh, I'm finally getting away with some shit. That's what I think the whole point is that they're kind of dangling the carrot in front of us because they know that we can't catch it.
Yeah, I kind of get the sense of that too.
And that's why I do 100% believe that there's a bunker underneath. I think that
I do too.
That's 100%. I have no questions about that. I think some of this other stuff, people started to put it together a little too quickly, which is why I also think the airport started to lean into it.
Yeah.
I think they were like, they even came out with a thing called like the Den Files, like a little joke on the X Files, and they made a whole website on like, ooh, what are conspiracy theories going on in our airport? It's been taken down. It was a website.
Yeah.
But they leaned into it a little too hard to, I think, make it be like, hey, this is like satire.
Yeah.
Like, this is a joke. Don't believe anything you hear because clearly it's a joke.
Yeah.
But they have so much fuel. They can pump it so fast. Those are the things that really got me. The fact that the bunker was there. They spent so much money building this luggage system that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Those are things that I was just like, well, there's a little too much going on here. Like, if this was a bunker, right? Having that much fuel and being able to load it super quickly to get out would be really convenient.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sheer size of it being bigger than Manhattan.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically its own city.
It is.
And if they're digging stuff underneath there, and nobody knows what the full layout looks like because they spread out, each person has a different thing. I think They could have like an underground town going down there,
Yeah.
and it could be like the city of Ember.
Oh,
You read that
yeah,
book?
I did. Yeah.
They could have their own city of Ember underneath, and nobody would know.
Yeah.
That's my conclusion. Any other thoughts?
I mean, I don't think so. Like, I agree. It's definitely a bunker. I think they're definitely playing with us a little bit.
Yeah.
I believe a lot of the people who would be on the other side of that like New World Order situation are too removed from society to know how much the regular person would pick up.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like royal family type people, like they're just so removed from like what regular people know and can pick up on that someone like that would make the mistake of like being too obvious about
Being a
things like
little
this.
too honest.
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. I could see that happening too, and them regretting it. But I mean, the problem with this is we'll probably never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only way we'll know is if there's a giant pandemic or something like that, and everybody gets, or like a meteor comes close again.
I mean, during this pandemic, last I checked, president isn't working from underground in Denver.
It's true.
Things are going okay in the White House. You know, like they can still live there and function there.
We'll see.
You're right.
Maybe the White House is also an alien spaceship.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, thanks for listening.
That's it.
Please make sure to follow us on YouTube. Give us likes, subscribe, rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, rate us on Spotify, subscribe anywhere that you can. Still working on a Facebook page, maybe an Instagram.
If you're interested in sponsoring us, email us. The email is in the description. That's all I got. That's what you should know.
That's what you should know about the Denver airport. Cheers.
In-person edition. Thanks.